You ever had someone in your life who seemed solid, supportive, kind, maybe even like family, only to realize later they were just playing a role? It stings, it's frustrating, but here's the thing. When people show you their true colors, that's not a loss, it's a gift. Life has a way of exposing who's real and who's not. And whether you call it energy, intuition, or divine intervention, there's something bigger at play. You don't have to go searching for fake people. Trust me, they will reveal themselves. And when they do, that's when you step into a new level of strength. Because God isn't just exposing them, He's protecting you. People don't always reveal their true selves right away. At first, they might show up as supportive, kind, and even deeply invested in your success. But over time, patterns start to emerge. You notice inconsistencies, words that don't match actions, loyalty that wavers when things get tough, or an energy that feels different when you're winning versus when you're struggling. This isn't a coincidence. It's part of how life and God works. You don't have to go digging for the truth about people. It always comes to the surface. Sometimes it happens when you face hardship. Fake people tend to disappear when you need them the most. Other times, success exposes them because jealousy or hidden resentment starts to show. Either way, the process is natural. When someone isn't meant to be in your life, they will eventually reveal themselves. The key is to pay attention. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Don't make excuses for repeated letdowns or overlook warning signs just because you want to hold on to the relationship. The exposure of fake people isn't meant to hurt you, it's meant to free you. God doesn't allow people to be revealed in your life to break you. He does it to protect you from something you can't yet see. We all have that feeling deep inside, the little nudge, the gut instinct that tells us something isn't right. Maybe it's a subtle discomfort around a certain person, an uneasiness when they speak, or a sense of doubt that creeps in after every conversation. That feeling isn't random. It's not paranoia. It's a warning. And more often than not, it's God trying to guide you before you even realize what's happening. A lot of people second-guess themselves when it comes to identifying fake people. They rationalize behaviors, ignore red flags, and convince themselves they're just overthinking. But the truth is, when God wants to show you someone's true nature, He starts by stirring something in your spirit. That gut feeling? That's divine guidance. That's Him whispering, pay attention. Sometimes the signs are small at first. Maybe a friend's energy shifts when you share good news, and instead of celebrating, they seem indifferent or even slightly irritated. Maybe someone constantly offers support in words but never backs it up with actions. Maybe they seem loyal until a better opportunity comes along and suddenly their priorities change. These moments aren't coincidences. They are signals, but it's up to you to acknowledge them. When you ignore your intuition, you open the door to unnecessary pain. God isn't trying to make your life harder by revealing fake people. He's trying to protect you, but protection only works if you trust the process. If you keep making excuses, if you keep holding on to people He's trying to remove, then you're the one delaying your own peace. The longer you hold on to what's fake, the harder it becomes to receive what's real. Sometimes God makes the message clearer when you don't listen the first time. You'll start seeing more obvious signs. Maybe a person betrays you, talks behind your back, or suddenly walks away when you need them most. And while it may feel painful in the moment, it's actually an answered prayer. You might have asked for clarity, for better relationships, or for peace. And this is part of how you receive it. God doesn't just remove people, He reveals them first so you have the choice to walk away. But here's the thing, the choice is always yours. You can listen to that divine guidance early on and save yourself the disappointment, or you can ignore it and learn the hard way. Either way, the truth always comes out. That's why it's so important to trust your instincts, to recognize when something feels off, and to believe that God is speaking through those feelings. The right people in your life won't make you question their loyalty. They won't leave you feeling drained, confused, or uneasy. Real friends, real supporters, and real relationships bring peace, not tension. When God removes fake people, He's making room for the ones who truly belong. And when He gives you that first nudge, that gut feeling that something isn't right, listen. Because that's not just your intuition. That's God protecting you before you even know you need it. Losing people is never easy. Whether it's a friend, a family member, or someone you thought would always be there, the pain of watching them walk away, or worse, betray you, can feel like a deep wound. But here's the truth. What feels like a loss is often a divine redirection. When God removes fake people from your life, it's not a punishment, it's a blessing. The problem is that we don't always see it that way at first. Most people struggle with letting go because they focus on what they're losing instead of what they're gaining. When someone exits your life, it's easy to dwell on the memories, the good times, and the potential you thought the relationship had. You might even blame yourself, wondering if you could have done something differently to make them stay. But what if their departure wasn't a mistake? What if it was necessary for your growth, your peace, and your future? God doesn't just remove people randomly, He removes them with purpose. Sometimes He sees things you don't. Maybe that friend you trusted was secretly envious of you, and their energy was draining you more than you realized. Maybe that person who suddenly distanced themselves was preventing you from stepping into your next season. Maybe their presence in your life was keeping you stuck in a mindset, a habit, or a situation that God was trying to free you from. When you view every loss as just a loss, you miss the bigger picture. Not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Some people are seasonal. They come into your life to teach you something, to help you grow, or to push you in a certain direction, but they are not meant to stay forever. And when their time is up, God will make sure they leave, even if it hurts. This is where perspective comes in. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is this making room for? Because every time God removes someone, He's making space for something greater. It might not be clear immediately, you might feel alone for a while, but trust that what's being taken away is being replaced with something better, stronger relationships, deeper peace, and a life that aligns with where you're truly meant to be. The hardest part is trusting the process when you don't have all the answers. It takes faith to believe that losing someone is actually a form of protection. It takes strength to stop chasing people who have already shown they don't belong in your life. And it takes wisdom to understand that rejection is often redirected. Think about it. How many times in your life have you looked back and realized that losing someone was the best thing that could have happened? At the time, it felt like heartbreak, but in hindsight, you see how much lighter, freer, and more at peace you became. That's what happens when you let go of what's fake. God replaces it with what's real. So the next time someone walks away, betrays you, or fades out of your life, don't fight it. Don't beg for them to stay. Don't hold on to what God is trying to remove. Instead, shift your perspective. Instead of seeing loss, see liberation. Instead of mourning what's gone, get excited for what's coming. Because when God takes something away, it's only because He's making room for something so much greater. Now let's flip the script. Success is another major test of loyalty, and in some ways it's even more revealing than hardship. When you start leveling up, achieving goals, growing in confidence, building something meaningful, watch how people react. Some will celebrate you, encourage you, and support you wholeheartedly. Others will get quiet, distant, or even start competing with you. You'll notice subtle jealousy, backhanded compliments, or a sudden shift in energy. These people were never truly loyal to you. They were only loyal to the version of you that stayed on their level. The moment you rise, their insecurity is exposed, and instead of being happy for you, they start resenting you. The biggest mistake you can make is ignoring these tests. God allows these situations to happen, not to hurt you, but to help you see the truth. If you hold on to people who fail these tests, you're keeping yourself stuck in relationships that don't serve you. The longer you keep fake, inconsistent, or jealous people around, the more you limit yourself from stepping fully into the life you're meant to live. So how do you handle it? First, stop chasing people who don't show up for you. If someone fails the test of loyalty, believe it. Don't make excuses, don't beg them to change, and don't lower your standards just to keep them around. Second, focus on the people who do pass the test. Real friends, real supporters, and real relationships don't waver based on circumstances. They're there in the highs and the lows, celebrating your success and standing by you in your struggle. At the end of the day, loyalty isn't proven in words, it's proven in actions. And when people fail the test, don't see it as a loss, see it as a lesson. Because when God reveals who's real and who's fake, He's giving you the clarity you need to surround yourself with the right people. And when you do that, that's when your life truly starts to elevate. Sometimes the people we want in our lives the most are the ones God is trying to protect us from. But because we don't always see what He sees, we hold on too tightly. We ignore the signs, we make excuses, and we try to force relationships that were never meant to last. That's when God has to step in, not to hurt us, but to protect us. Rejection, betrayal, abandonment, these things hurt, but what if they were actually God's way of saving you from something worse? What if that friend who suddenly turned against you wasn't supposed to be in your future? What if that relationship that fell apart was actually saving you from heartbreak down the road? What if the door that closed was never meant for you in the first place? God sees what we don't. He hears conversations we aren't a part of. He knows the intentions behind people's actions, even when they seem genuine on the surface. That's why, when certain people are removed from your life, it's not a punishment, it's divine protection. Think about the times you've been disappointed by people leaving. Maybe you thought a friendship would last forever, only to be blindsided by betrayal. Maybe you were in a relationship that seemed perfect, but suddenly things fell apart. In those moments, it's easy to feel hurt, confused, and even angry. But looking back, how many of those losses actually turned out to be blessings in disguise? How many times did you later realize that the people who left weren't really for you? God doesn't just remove people, He reveals them first. He allows certain situations to unfold so you can see people's true colors. Maybe He lets someone betray you so you can finally stop trusting the wrong person. Maybe He allows rejection so you don't waste more time in a place you were never meant to be. The problem is that we often try to hold on when He's clearly telling us to let go. Let's be honest, sometimes we pray for things that aren't aligned with God's plan. We ask for a relationship to work, a friendship to be restored, or a door to open, not realizing that what we're asking for isn't good for us. And when God says no, we get frustrated, but His no is often a form of protection. So how do you handle it? First, stop seeing rejection as a personal failure. When someone leaves your life, whether through betrayal, distance, or a sudden change, it's not always about you. It's about what God is doing behind the scenes. Instead of questioning why they left, start trusting that their absence is necessary for your growth. Second, recognize that every loss creates space for something better. When God removes the wrong people, He's making room for the right ones. The friends who truly support you, the relationships that are built on trust and love, the opportunities that align with your purpose. But you can't receive what's meant for you if you're still holding on to what's not. At the end of the day, God's protection doesn't always feel like protection at first. It might feel like pain, disappointment, and confusion, but trust that He sees what you can't. And when He removes someone from your life, He's not just taking something away, He's leading you toward something far greater. At the end of the day, the people who are meant to be in your life will stay, and the ones who were never truly for you will eventually reveal themselves. It might not always be obvious in the moment, and it might even hurt, but trust that God is always working behind the scenes. Every betrayal, every rejection, and every disappointment is not meant to break you. It's meant to guide you. Instead of chasing what's leaving, focus on what's coming. Instead of mourning the loss of fake people, celebrate the fact that you're being freed from relationships that were never built to last. Because when God removes someone, He's not just taking something away. He's preparing you for something better. So pay attention to the signs. Trust your intuition. Believe people when they show you who they are. And most importantly, have faith that every loss is actually a step towards something greater. Because when you stop holding on to what's fake, you make room for the real, the genuine, and the people who are truly meant to walk this journey with you.